All right, let's talk about something that's, well, a little unsettling. You know how companies tell you your data is anonymized? Well, what if I told you that even then, an AI can spill your secrets? We're not talking about hackers breaking into a database here. We're talking about the AI itself leaking clues just by giving answers.
So to make this real, let's meet Chloe. She's a college student and she's pretty savvy about her digital privacy. She does all the right things. So when she used this new medical AI, she felt secure. The company promised, hey, all your data is anonymized before we use it to train our model. Sounds safe enough, right?
In her mind, her data is just gone. It's one piece of info in a sea of thousands, maybe millions of other people's data. How could anyone possibly find her specific story in all that noise? She figures she's protected by the crowd. But is she really?
To really get a handle on the risk here, we're going to need a good analogy. And this one's perfect for what we're talking about.
Remember how Chloe felt her data was lost? Well, think of it like this. She sees her information as just one single grain of sand on a huge, endless beach. Good luck finding that, right? But here's the catch. What if some of those grains of sand are different? What if they have unique qualities? If you know exactly what you're looking for, that one special grain can suddenly stick out like a sore thumb.
And that's where our next character, Kim, enters the picture. Now, Kim's an ethical hacker, one of the good guys. His job is to think like a bad guy, to find these weaknesses before someone with malicious intent does. And he knows a little secret about AI. Sometimes, when it learns, it doesn't just see patterns, it memorizes details. And now he's on the hunt for Chloe's single grain of sand.
So how in the world does he do this? You might be picturing someone hacking into a server room, but no. Kim's approach is way more clever and subtle than that. He starts with something that has a pretty technical name, a membership inference attack. But the idea behind it is actually super simple. All he wants to do is figure out one thing. Was Chloe's data even in the training set for this AI in the first place? Was she part of the club?
So how does it work? It's kind of wild. Kim doesn't need to steal anything. He just talks to the AI. He asks it a bunch of really specific questions. But here's the genius part. He's not just looking at the answers. He's looking at how sure the AI is about its answers. You see, it turns out that AI models often get a little overconfident when you ask them about data they've actually seen before. It's like they're saying, oh yeah, I know this one for sure. That little boost in confidence? That's the tell. That's the clue he's looking for.
And boom, just like that, her privacy is gone. Think about it. If this AI was trained on a data set from people with, say, a very specific and rare medical condition, and Kim can prove Chloe's data was in that training set, well, he now knows she has that condition, and he never once had to look at her actual medical records. Game over.
Okay, but that's just step one. Knowing she's in the dataset is bad enough, but it can get so much worse. The next type of attack is, honestly, it's pretty alarming. So we've established that Kim knows Chloe is a member of the club. But can he go further? Can he actually pull her specific data right out of the AI's brain? Can he take that ghost of her data that was supposed to be lost in the crowd and bring it back to life?
The answer, terrifyingly, is yes. It's a technique called model inversion, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. By asking the right questions over and over and analyzing the patterns in the AI's responses, a hacker can essentially work backwards. They can reverse engineer the data it was trained on. It's like rebuilding a ghost from the echoes it left behind.
Here's a really powerful example. Let's say you have an AI that's just been trained to recognize faces. Using this model inversion trick, a hacker could poke and prod that AI until it spits out enough clues to actually recreate a person's face, a face from the training data. They could generate a recognizable picture of someone without ever having seen the original photo. The AI's memory can literally be forced to cough up its secrets.
Okay, this is all pretty bleak, I know. So what's the solution? How do we actually protect people like Chloe? How do we build these amazing AI tools that can do so much good without them turning around and betraying our deepest secrets? Well, the answer isn't just about building bigger digital walls or better firewalls. That's old school thinking. The problem isn't someone breaking in to get the data. The problem is the AI's own logic letting the data out. So the solution has to be way deeper. It's about fundamentally changing the math, changing how the AI learns in the first place.
Really, it comes down to a two-part strategy. On one hand, you've got better math, like a technique called differential privacy, which completely changes how the AI is trained. And on the other hand, you've got better security, Things like API protections that put guardrails on the AI, limiting what kinds of questions people can even ask it.
Let's go back to our beach and that single grain of sand. This is where differential privacy is so cool. Imagine that before the AI even gets to see the beach, we sprinkle a very specific, calculated amount of digital noise, like static, all over it. The static is just enough to make Chloe's individual grain of sand totally blend in. It's impossible to pick out. But, and this is the brilliant part, there's not so much noise that you can't see the overall shape of the beach. The AI can still learn the big picture patterns it needs to work, but the individual secrets are kept safe.
All right, so let's bring this all home. What's the big takeaway here? What do we need to remember as we start using these incredibly powerful AI systems in pretty much every part of our lives?
It's this. Our whole idea of privacy has to change. It's not just about who has the password to your files anymore. It's about what the AI itself remembers about you. It's about these little echoes and ghosts of your data that live on inside the models we talk to every single day.
And that really leaves us with a huge question, doesn't it? We're getting so good at building AIs that can give us amazing answers. But the real challenge, the one we have to solve now, is how do we make sure that as they get better at giving those answers, they also get a whole lot better at keeping our secrets?